Hello, everyone. It's episode 55. I didn't write it down. The General Damage Podcast. I'm Nick.
I'm Will.
And I'm Shane.
Yay, we're all here together.
Perfect.
And I'm introducing again after 2 days, which was kind of nice.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Two episodes, not introducing.
There you go. I'm sure it was nice on the vocal cords a little bit.
Oh, it's just nice to... I don't know, I can't explain it. Sometimes it just gets kind of...
I like
that's the word I'm looking for.
that you let
waning.
me introduce, even though you already told the podcast that I wasn't allowed to introduce. Good job. You guys have great conviction.
Hey, Shane.
Shut the fuck up.
Thank you.
Just saying.
Oh, God.
Okay, you suck at comedy.
Yeah.
I still won't forgive you for that. I mean, and by the way, we let you introduce, but you wanted to introduce that one time because you wanted to say that lame-ass joke.
May have been a lame-ass joke, but one lame-ass joke does not mean I'm not funny.
Yes, it does.
It's a lame-ass joke. That's the definition of it not being funny.
I know, but it doesn't mean I'm not funny.
You're not.
In that one instance, you were not funny.
There we go.
All funny,
I'll give
all
you
funny taken away.
dashed upon rocks.
Nick is an unforgiving comedy god. One bad joke, no more.
One bad joke or just unnecessary racism, and yeah.
It's like Nick's like Caesar and the fucking just thumbs down.
Actually, according to what they think, the thumbs down is what you wanted. Because it meant drop your sword.
Interesting.
And the thumbs up basically meant jab him in the throat, kill him. Supposedly. You can take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
I'm sure historians have been arguing over that for a while.
Yeah, considering all the things they could have argued, they could argue over. Yeah. But, whatever. Fuck it. The Romans lived, they created some great things, but they also did some fucked up things, so.
That's just the course of history.
I was going to say...
Yeah, we're on our way for that.
Good lord.
Dude,
I don't want to get into that.
Yeah. Well, that's a can of worms that I don't want to dwell on right now.
Yeah, that's a can of worms that's like might give you ulcers.
God, seriously.
Yeah.
I feel the hole
Alright,
starting to burn through my gut. Ugh.
Alright, well, you know what? I'll start things off.
It's like I'm
Sure.
on a rant. No, it's just like I'm 30 and I really don't want to I want to live past 30 and I really want to do the family thing and all that, and I want to have grandkids, and I really don't want to have grandkids saying, well, I remember back in 2017 when the war broke out. I don't want to have that story. I mean, do you guys want to have that story? Because I don't want to have that story.
Not particularly.
Yeah.
Actually,
Shane, shut up.
I've had that story told to me.
Not
Not like on a, oh, my grandfather's reminiscing. It was more like, I one time asked him what World War II was like.
Oh, Jesus.
Right.
And so I spent a day with my grandfather, and he told me everything. Which, by the way, he rarely talked about it.
Yeah, I mean, most people don't want to.
Most people don't.
Well,
yeah.
my aunts and uncles and my mom was like, wow, the stones on this kid. But my grandfather told me. And actually, you believe it or not, it's weird. This is how it happened for him. He was seeing a movie. He walked outside, and some guy on the street corner was like, "Did you hear about Hawaii?" And that's how he found out.
Right.
And then, you know,
Did he go to an enlistment? Did he go enlist it in there?
pretty much it was something like that.
No, that's most people's stories. They hear about it and they go to the nearest enlistment office.
Yeah.
Well, there's always especially with my grandfather, the best way to put it is there's an air of mystery behind his military career.
Uh-huh.
Like my brother joins the military,
Right.
and he tries to look up my grandfather's files,
Uh-huh.
and he can't.
Weird.
Huh.
Like, they've been pulled. And then on top of it, my grandfather mentioned this, and my other relatives can confirm it. he personally knew JFK.
Your grandfather personally knew John F. Kennedy?
Yep.
All right.
So, yeah, like, it's one of those things where it's like his military career is just like, I have some stories that I can kind of remember, and then everything else is like speculation. Kind of like the Romans, actually. Full circle.
Right.
But...
Well, I mean, the difference is you can talk to someone who lived through it. In Roman, you can just go, hey, look, I found a... oh, wait, this is from Potter Barn. Never mind.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's one of those things where I get what you're saying about, like, oh, I don't want to have that story, because we already have that story of, well, I remember where I was when 9/11 happened.
Yeah, I mean, we have that story, but it's like, I don't want to have that story in a hovel. You know?
Yeah.
It's just, yeah. I don't fancy it. I don't like the jokes that are happening around World War III or anything like that. And okay, we're gonna talk about movies real soon. If there's a sequel I don't want, it's World War III.
Fair.
Yeah, like, I can't disagree with that.
Yeah.
You know, like, fine, Activision, come out with another Call of Duty game. I'm fine with that. You know, come out with 10 more Halo games. I'm fine with that. Come out with 50 more Justice League movies. I'm fine with it. Just no more World War III.
Yeah.
Okay. Just none of that. Just none. No.
I think most people would agree with you on that one.
Yeah. It is everyone's least anticipated sequel.
Yes. Yeah. All things considered, since we've been like so like we've abstained from it for such a long time for us to like go into it. That's something we don't need.
Well, it's literally forgetting history. Since we are talking about it,
yeah,
it's literally forgetting history. If you're looking at everything that's happening in Europe with the Brexit and with the shit that's happening in France, and they probably want to exit, it's literally people forgetting why the European Union was made in the first place.
Right.
You know, and it's fear-mongering, and it's populism, which is kind of nationalism and all this other shit, and it's just people forgetting things, and people are afraid, and it's all kind of stemming from fear of a culture that they're not fully understanding. I mean, I don't understand. I'm not going to say I understand it completely, but it's all stemming from all this stuff, and I think climate change has a lot to do with it as well, and it's one thing after another. I mean, I don't know if this is dominoes affecting, and if the strike that happened on last Thursday was like the shot that killed the shot that started World War I, but I don't know. The reality is like this president, it's moments like this that really make me think I don't want him there.
I mean, yeah, like I would say this definitely is not helping at all feel like sound and secure.
No, it's not.
Definitely not creating a vote of confidence, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, in all intents and purposes, I think Hitler would have done the same fucking thing. But,
yeah, I think there is something to be said about that.
Yeah. But, with Trump, it can easily be a fucking tantrum.
And yeah, I think that's the scariest thing about it.
Yeah, we're not talking about a level-headed guy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I want to segue into something else less depressing and that doesn't make me so fucking worried. But I rather have more Batman movies with Ben Affleck, who is a good Batman, than World War III.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get him.
We are actually getting him.
I don't know if he's fully signed off on it, but apparently, I'm just going to get away from that other subject because it's making me anxiety-ridden. So Warner Brothers has 4 feature films planned for the Batman universe.
Whoa, all right.
Yeah, so in 2019, we're going to get 4 movies.
Okay.
Set in the Bat universe, set in Gotham. We're gonna get Gotham Sirens.
Okay.
Which is gonna be Harley Quinn, Catwoman, and Poison Ivy.
Okay.
That's Valentine's Day.
Okay.
So Shane, since you're the only one at the moment with a girlfriend, I guess you got 2019 Valentine's Day planned.
I mean, maybe, except for the part where I'm pretty sure she doesn't care about those people.
Yeah, she probably doesn't. Nightwing on Memorial Day.
Okay.
Which will be competing with the second Avengers Infinity War movie, I guess.
Ooh, man.
Yeah, good luck.
Jesus.
Batgirl in August, and Josh Whedon is writing that, I think. I don't know if he has anything else, but I know he's writing it.
Huh.
So that's interesting. And then in November, we have The Batman, which is the main one with Ben Affleck, if he's going to do it.
Right.
Plus 2 animated features coming out. I don't know if they're going to tie into the films, but we have also 2 DC animations starring Batman.
I'm just going to say it now.
What?
If Nightwing's on Memorial Day, we're going to have to call it the Memorial Day Massacre. Because there's no way it's going to do better than Infinity War.
Yeah. Well, 1, you don't know who they're going to get as Nightwing, and 2, we don't know anything beyond that.
True, but it's the second one, right?
Yes.
Yeah. If it's just not. It's not about like popularity at that point. It's people want to see the continuation of the cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Over seeing something new. Now, granted, don't get me wrong. Nightwing sounds interesting. That actually sounds really cool, and so does Batgirl.
Yeah.
They sound like they have potentials.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, again, like, they have a good lineup. They have the good actors. And Josh Whedon, they have a good writer and possible director. Who knows?
Right.
If Josh Whedon was to do... which one's he slated for? The Batman?
Batgirl.
Batgirl. That one is probably going to be their strongest one.
Yeah, I mean, like, knowing he's behind it, yeah, definitely. Just knowing that.
Yeah.
But...
Did you hear about the other Batman related thing?
No.
They're making it's already in production with Bruce Timm. It's Batman and Harley Quinn. It's an animated film.
Okay.
Basically, it's Batman and Nightwing.
Uh-huh.
And if I'm correct, it's the first Robin that became Nightwing.
Dick Grayson.
Yeah. And so it's like they have to deal with Poison Ivy, and they need someone who's been really close with Poison Ivy. So Batman's like, okay, Nightwing, go track down Harley Quinn.
Interesting.
And then they grab Harley Quinn, and she helps them deal with Poison Ivy. And Poison Ivy is teaming up with actually one of DC's villains that they haven't used in forever. It's like he's the full the Chlorophyll Man or something like that.
Nice.
It's basically a villain from like the old comic books. He's like a guy who's got plant DNA.
Okay.
Yeah,
explains why he's with Poison Ivy.
Yeah, right. Like, I mean, all I know is it's being directed by Bruce Timm, and he did a good chunk of the writing. Mm-hmm. So it definitely looks and feels like Batman the Animated Series. However, there's a lot of contention right now because I have to double check this, but Tara Strong is not playing Harley.
Ooh.
That blows.
Well, I mean, I heard a voice clip. Let me double check. Batman Harley Quinn. It's one of the actresses from The Big Bang Theory, not Kaylee Cuoco, but
Will it either be Bernadette or
the actress who plays Bernadette,
Melissa Rauch?
Yes, that's it.
Okay, well, the voice she uses technically for Bernadette isn't her real voice. So she could kind of fudge it.
That's weird. I heard.
I don't know.
I watched a video on it, like a 5-minute thing. She sounded pretty good, and I mean, what was it? Kevin Conroy came back as Batman, obviously.
I mean that man.
Well, yeah.
But then again, it was mostly because Bruce Timm was like, "Hey, I might do this movie," and Kevin's like, "Don't care, I'm on."
Yeah, right.
I'm pretty sure that man loves playing that role, so like. Very rarely would I imagine him like turning down the role to play Batman.
Nah. I told you guys. I mean, have you guys seen I Know That Voice?
Yes, after you've mentioned it a few times.
I
to watch it.
Yeah, I love that story he tells around 9/11.
Yeah.
Because he is Batman. I mean, like there's just he's iconic, and he's the one you could say it's also his fault for the Batman has to have two voices, but he could do that because he's a voice actor, and he could disguise his voice, and he does it well.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, what was it? Also the actor who played Nightwing in the Batman animated series? It's the same guy.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it's basically like a mini Batman the animated series reunion. Because also, I can't remember the other guy's name. I feel really bad, but he was one of the writers that worked really close with Tim. Mm-hmm. He did the screenplay / storyboard stuff.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so far it's ramping up to be a pretty good movie. Though some people are a little bit iffy because. I guess this is more of back to when Batman the Animated Series was at its height. Mm-hmm. Bruce Timm was a great character designer / director, but apparently he wrote some of the weaker episodes, whereas the other guy who kind of looked over the current script, he wrote some of like the best episodes. As everyone's like, "Oh, you should have just had him do it," but I think this was just Bruce Timm's brainchild, I guess. So.
Okay.
I mean, we'll have to see it. All I know is, most of the time, the DC animated films kick ass.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, very, very true. I still haven't seen there's... The last Justice League movie I saw that was set in that world. If you know what I'm talking... Like, it started with Justice League War, and there's been a few others.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The last one I saw was... And now I'm blanking completely. I can't remember the last one I saw. Shit.
Was it Justice League versus Teen Titans?
Yes, thank you. That's exactly what it was.
Cool.
Yeah, it was Justice League versus Teen Titans.
That's a pretty good one.
Yeah, it's a very good one, yeah. So, there's Justice League Teen Titans. I still want to see the Aquaman one. Mm-hmm. There's Justice League Throne of Atlantis.
Have you seen Justice League Dark yet?
I've not seen Justice League Dark. I want to see that. I want to see. I saw Batman. It was the one where he finally meets his son. I saw that one.
Oh, okay.
Son of Batman. I want to see Batman versus Robin. That's the other one, which is based off the comic.
I really liked Son of Batman.
Yeah, it was good.
Though someone pointed out something great about Damian's reveal.
What?
When Talia stepped aside and pulled the curtain across.
Yeah.
And Damian's just standing there, which means he had to stand behind the curtain the entire time that Batman and
his mother was coming on to...
Yeah, like he had to stand there the entire time. They had like that 5-minute back and forth.
Yeah, I thought that too. It's like, come on, be responsible. I know you're like a murderer assassin and whatever, but fucking be like a little bit more...
By the way, just so for anyone who actually cared about this, Sam Louie.
Sam Louie is who?
The writer that works with Bruce Timm.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I just looked it up because it was bugging the shit out of me.
Fair enough. Yeah, I don't know about these 4 Batman movies, or these 4 movies set in a Batman universe.
They could be good, they could be bad.
Well, I mean, it's okay. I have faith in a lot of the actors that they could pick. I mean, that's the thing that's aggravating me so much with Ben Affleck. It's the fact that he wants to leave, and I totally get why he wants to leave. Right. But at the same time, it's just he's a really good Batman.
He is.
I also want him to direct the movie, to be honest.
Well, yeah. I mean, if Warner Brothers... This is just another thing of, like, this is where we bash Warner Brothers, I guess. Hey, look, it's 8 o'clock. Time to bash Warner Brothers. It's just they're being stupid, and they're being greedy, and if they were smart, they go, sure, Mr. Affleck, go ahead. Make the Batman. And they're not letting him do it. If you want to be successful, fucking let him do it.
Yeah, realistically, they really should just let him do it.
Yeah, but they're not, and they're probably going to lose him. And then if they lose him, that's basically going to be the iceberg that's going to sink this bitch.
Yeah, I would agree. At this point, definitely. Like at that point, it's just a sinking ship.
I mean, the problem is you could have an A-list cast.
Oh yeah,
It's like if you're writing and directing terrible, their performance could be the best they do, and it won't hold the ship. But the other problem is Warner Brothers, their execs, in my opinion, have this idea that they can, I guess, fake it till they make it with the movies.
Yeah,
that's how it feels. Like it's just like, oh, if we try to produce it with enthusiasm and like not really care about all of the source material, we can kind of get through it. Where I feel like they it's just been really shoddy.
Yeah,
and I know that with Ben Affleck, his directing specifically, the reason I say it is because he's very good about, like, when he did was it Fargo? What was that movie? Sorry, now I have to look it up now. It was the movie about getting that film crew out of that country.
Argo,
that's
Argo.
It. Yeah, he directed that, and that was fucking amazing. And that's because he read up on the source material and he understood the whole thing, and it felt, you know what I mean?
It felt genuine.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
it felt very genuine. His character, his portrayal is, I mean, some reviewer said, oh, Ben Affleck's playing kind of a emotionless, robot. I'm like, well, one, he's a CIA operative, and he kind of has to keep everything in. Yeah, that's just the character. Right. You want to watch him emote and be all crazy and stuff like that. There's other movies he does that in.
Right.
Like, he's got a huge swath of films. Pick one. Watch him do a bunch of shit. I know he pissed off Michael Bay in the filming of Armageddon, though.
Really?
Which I think is hilarious.
Watch Good Will Hunting. He was a supporting actor in that movie, and he still kicked ass.
Yeah. Well, he has the best speech in that movie.
I really liked Robin Williams' speech about his wife.
Well, yeah, that one's good too, but, like, that one's just kind of him telling Will about life. Ben Affleck's speech in that movie is basically telling Will, fucking do it. Stop being an asshole. Which is a great, because he has that whole line, like, one day I'm going to wake up and I'm going to be 50 and I'm still going to be doing this shit. And he's right. That was the whole point of that speech. It was basically just to light a fire under Will's ass. You're 21 and you have an IQ of 170 and you're just going to stay doing blue collar shit when you could be doing something even like 100 times better, and you're not going to do it? Fucking shame on you. So, yeah, I like Ben Affleck as an actor and a director. Warner Brothers should be thinking the same thing, and they should be letting him take the reins, and they're not, and it's wrong.
Yeah, it's not helping them out at all.
I know there's more movies we want to talk to, but I want to just... Can we sidestep one real quick?
Sure.
I want to ask you guys something.
Mm-hmm.
Since Ghost in the Shell came out and it bombed here, anyway.
Yeah.
But its parents doing really well, ironically enough, in Japan.
Yeah, I can believe that.
Well, and the Japanese audience doesn't care. And even the director of the original movie, he says, hey, Johansson did a great thing. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter. But I have a question for you guys. If they made a Cowboy Bebop movie...
Okay.
A live action. If they made one that's live action, they're probably looking at it. Mm-hmm. And if they cast a white actor to play Spike, would that be whitewashing that character?
I'd say no, and that's just because I don't know. I've always just assumed that for that cast in particular, because it's very ambiguous and where they're set. That if they're white, it's fine. Like I think it's fine.
Well, they're not even from Earth; they're from Mars.
Right, and so it's just like they literally could be any fair-skinned looking person being Asian, white, or kind of like a blend, Hispanic even. I mean, I think it'd be fine, and it's because we don't have. Again, there's no like defining this is where they're from. Where it's like one of the issues with Ghost in the Shell is they're in like a Tokyo like area.
They're in Tokyo.
So that kind of the expectation is that you try and keep the characters looking as Asian as possible, and I think that was kind of.
I think it's definitely open to interpretation.
Yeah.
So, by the way, about Ghost in the Shell,
mm-hmm.
the reason why the Japanese actually don't have such a big deal with it is because they have their own, Japanese film companies. They make films with plenty of Japanese actors, right?
Right.
It's Asian Americans who have a problem with it, with representation.
Yeah.
Now, interestingly enough, I think it also comes down to the way the characters are written and how they're named. Like how their identity is crafted, right?
Right. Will said something about that with the new Death Note movie.
Yeah. We have Light Yagami we have Light. Sorry, I don't know if his last name is Yagami, but we have.
Okay, that really will be whitewashing if his last name's Yagami.
Yeah, but we have this character Light, who is this white boy, and it's just like what parent other than like celebrities would that would go out of their way to name their child Light? Whereas in a Japanese culture, that may just be how the name translates out to, but their name may not actually be Light. So it's it's weird.
Yeah, and again, it is people here Asian Americans getting upset at that, but at the same time, in Japan, there's been several movies, from what I understand, plus plays about Death Note.
Oh God, yeah, it's
so
huge. It's deep there.
The Death Note thing, I'm kind of on the fence about. I mean, I think it's just bad casting on Netflix's part because they cast basically a white serial killer who's going to be hunting down a black detective.
That is weird.
I'm not familiar with the story, so that kind of it's a little bit fucked up. But again, I think Will said this when we were chatting one time in the car or whatever, driving wherever. They could have just changed his name to Alex.
Yeah.
Or something absurd, all right? And then they could change the detective to maybe let him be a black guy. I don't fucking know.
L being black wouldn't be the issue. It's more actually, I think L being black is really cool. I think the problem is they cast Light as this white guy, right? Who actually kind of looks like a serial killer. But
yeah, he also doesn't look like what you'd expect Light to look like. And I think that I think the thing is, it would have been more interesting actually if they interpreted it a bit differently, where they did make an Asian actor Light Yagami, right? Yeah.
And they played around with some other stuff. I mean, also they have Willem Dafoe playing Ragnarok.
Yeah, the demon. Yeah.
Which can technically be open to interpretation as well, but it's
okay.
A gray area for me, I guess.
Whitewashing a demon is just going off of that. Whitewashing a demon is just
we'll see how it goes.
Stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
claiming that is just stupid. He whitewashed him. They whitewashed a demon. It's a demon. Yeah. What are you gonna complain about? The Klingons?
Well, so here's more interesting. Here's more interesting flip on that for a second. Ready? We all saw the trailer for the Full Metal Alchemist movie.
Yeah.
I saw one of them. I think it was a teaser. I haven't seen any of the others.
They actually released a full trailer.
Yeah.
And it actually looked pretty good.
It looked alright.
But someone pointed out something, which is
alright.
Edward and Alphonse are portrayed as Europeans. Or some sort of white person, and yet they have Asians playing them, right? But granted, I don't really have a problem with that because it's being produced by Tokyo Film Company.
Right.
It's what they're gonna do.
Right.
But granted, I know some people are like, "What kind of ruins how I perceive them?" And I'm like, okay. And so this is the argument where I feel like,
what, yellow washing? Is that the new term now?
I feel like this is where I feel like the argument for Ghost in the Shell should have been.
Wow, I went dark with that.
I mean, it's not that bad. But the thing with Major Katsunagi, right? Is that she was obviously Japanese from the start. That was the thing. And then on top of it, they cast a white actress. Okay, that was a big piss off moment for everyone. But then on top of it, in the movie, apparently, her character, Major and Katanagi, are two separate people in a sense, because Katanagi was her before she got abducted. And then the Major is her identity as the robot. And see right there, that's the fucked up part, because she supposedly has this touching moment with an Asian actress who's playing her mother. And there's just this weird disconnect. and like me, I was like,
okay.
And when I found this out, Ashley told me, and I was like, but the character's full name is Major Katanagi. Rank and name. She was always that. It was never like the Major was a nickname, yeah, but that was the character always. And so for them to do that feels like they butchered the story to fit their needs, and that is what I would call whitewashing.
Yeah, that is definitely. I mean, that ranks right up there in the 40s and 50s and 60s when they were making spaghetti westerns, and they basically just painted a guy red, and he was an Indian.
Or how they used white actresses for the Hispanic people in West Side Story.
Yeah.
Right?
It was Audrey Hepburn.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
Cleopatra is an Egyptian. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
And so, but granted.
Oh my god! I just thought of the worst one.
What?
Mickey Rourke. He played the landlord in Breakfast at Tiffany's. Look up Mickey Rourke Breakfast at Tiffany's. Look that up, and you'll know exactly what we're talking about. I mean, like it's right out of a World War II propaganda poster.
Yeah. Oof.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Shane's like world crushing experience of, oh shit, that happened.
You know what, Shane? You're what, like half a quarter like Japanese or something like that? You should be horribly offended just out of principle.
I am very offended. And holy shit. Wow.
I think his name was Mr. Wong.
I think so. I just heard part of Shane
Yuniyoshi.
Mr. Yuyoshi.
I just heard part of Shane's soul die across our talk. Jesus.
Across the talk, I think we could have heard it without the mics. We'd just heard a little pop coming from the east.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh god. Yeah, Shane. Sorry, man.
Sorry, nephew.
One slight correction though, it's not Mickey Rourke, it was Mickey Rooney.
Whatever.
Mickey Rooney. Oh, why'd I say Mickey? Okay, there's too many Mickeys. Yeah. Mickey Mouse, Mickey Rourke, yeah, whatever.
Still,
Mickey Rooney,
still
but yeah,
doesn't fix the issue.
Yeah, Mickey Rooney, my bad, but yeah.
It
doesn't fix the issue.
Guys, that really hurts my soul.
It's alright.
Making your profile picture.
You know, ironically, I'm pretty sure that my Uncle Timmy, who looks very Asian, would make this his profile picture out of irony.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, well, yeah. I need to cleanse my mind of that. Can we move on?
Yeah.
We can move on. I just wanted to throw that question about Spike, because, because people could have, like, claimed that, but at the same time, it's like, he doesn't have a nationality, and just because he practices Keat Jun Jo, I mispronounced that, Bruce Lee was Chinese, not Japanese. Right. So, argument one. But whatever, fuck it. He's probably mixed anyway because he lives on Mars.
Right. Who the fuck knows what they are anymore?
You know what? Correction, it would be whitewashing because he lives on Mars and we don't have a Martian plane on.
Fair enough. But wouldn't it be just earth-washing instead of whitewashing?
Yeah, it would be earth-washing.
It'd be really convoluted.
It would be earth-washing.
Yeah. By the way, the official name of this episode is going to be Ricky Rudy Hurt Me.
Okay. Show me where Mickey Rooney touched you.
Oh god, right in the soul spot.
See this hole right in the middle of my chest? That's where my soul was.
Oh man.
No, yeah, it's fucked up though. I mean, look it up. If you guys, whoever's listening, look it up. And if you don't know what we're talking about, whoo boy,
yeah, it's not so good.
Not so good at all. Alright, so I'm gonna move away from this now, and I want to talk about one of the topics I wanted to bring to the table.
Sure.
What's that?
Prey.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
have not been following that.
I
just haven't.
I follow Prey only because it's actually at my work.
Sure.
GameStop. You know
Makes
how they have
sense.
that TV and they just show off their little commercials and stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, GameStop commercials have this thing about Prey, and they talk about the game and all that, right?
Uh-huh.
And so I found out some interesting things about Prey.
Uh-huh.
What?
One of them is Morgan, the character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could choose to be either a dude or a girl.
Oh.
And
Morgan's oh shit, I'm blanking on the term.
gender
It's
neutral.
gender neutral.
Gender neutral, unisex, yeah, whichever word you want to use.
Sure. And so I thought that was really cool, and the developer was like, yeah, we want Morgan's story to be the player's story.
Oh, that's sweet. I like that.
Yeah. Now,
That's cool.
I found out something really cool today, and this isn't spoilers because it's in a public television, right?
Oh, shit, spoilers, then.
So, you know how the monsters can turn into random objects?
Yeah, you can, too.
Yes,
Yeah.
but have they showed you have you seen with the trailer what it looks like? So it looks like, have you ever heard of I Am Bread?
Oh, yeah.
No.
Okay, so there's a game called I Am Bread where the whole point is to get into a toaster. You are a piece of bread, you move like a piece of bread, you get in the toaster.
Sounds very independent.
Yep. Well, in this game, you become the chair, and then you move like a chair.
Yep.
And it's very funny. And then there was a moment where he turned into a paper towel roll, and he rolled up a wall and then into an air vent.
Yeah.
And then when you transform, you burst out of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know that about the game until today.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And so to see but the thing is, if you told me about that mechanic a month ago, and I never saw it, I'd be
Yeah.
like, that's fucking stupid.
Sure. That's a fair response.
But to see it in action, holy shit, does that make me want to play this game? And I had no intentions of playing Prey.
It looks fun, right?
It definitely makes the game, like, less scary in a sense.
Sure.
Because before it's like, oh, everything's a mimic, which means everything's death.
Yeah.
Right.
But in this case, it's like, oh shit, I'm a mimic, which means I can be death.
Yes.
And
I haven't seen anything for this game, so I mean this is the first I'm hearing about it.
It's pretty clever that you can basically go around the entire world and take on the appearance of these random objects. It's very cool.
Yeah, sounds like it.
but it also creates something very interesting now, which is something about the story. Morgan is, as we've all gathered, Morgan's part of some sort of experimental program, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Morgan is part of a program, because I heard this from a sound clip.
Mm-hmm.
He's part of a program specifically designed to combat the fucking aliens.
Right.
Now, thinking about
Okay.
that, though, the story for this game has to be insane, because the psychological level of becoming an object, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like the hide and seek, especially with a bunch of fucking aliens that can also do it.
Right.
That's terrifying and fun and thrilling. It's like it pulls all these different, like, oh man, it's so cool, and it makes me like anxious and like excited, and I'm like, wow, I haven't actually heard of a concept in a while that makes you feel like that.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't been following the game. I don't know if I'm going to get it right away, but after hearing that, it sounds pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm very interested in it. I don't know if I'm gonna buy it immediately, and it's not because I don't want to. It's just I don't know if I have time to pick that up as well. Like, I'm still busting my hump through some other games right now. So I am super stoked for it, though. I think it's very cool, very clever what they're putting into this game, and just kind of the amount of stuff that they've put into it. So I am excited for it.
So
Yeah.
I actually might pick it up
All right.
when it releases, and that's mostly because it releases super close to my birthday. So I'll probably get GameStop gift cards, right?
Very nice.
Right.
Might as well pump it into that. And I was thinking about putting down a pre-order next time I go to work, just because, like, that's a fucking cool idea.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I don't even know if the game has multiplayer, but if it did, that'd be the fucking best multiplayer.
That's where I could see multiplayer being clever. Where if that mechanic's
FPS, there,
but it's also tactical about how you play the game, where you can kind of hide in plain sight. I think that's kind of a cool mechanic. Whether it works or not.
Have you ever heard of Prop Hunt?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. So Prop Hunt, basically, for anyone who doesn't know, is like a version of Gary's Mod where a person runs around with a gun, hunting down other people who have turned into objects, right?
Yeah.
But the other people can't fight back. And this game sounds like the best version of Prop Hunt, which is everyone can transform it and everyone can shoot back.
That's interesting. Apparently for April Fools, the holiday I hate.
Yep.
Was Infinity War for Call of Duty for the Modern Warfare Remastered. Yeah. They basically put out Prop Hunt.
Right. It's a really cool mode for the game.
Yeah, and people loved it, and they want it. They want them to keep it.
Right.
So, but at the same time, there's a debate. Could we? I mean, it's getting into a legal thing because Gary's Mod did it first. So
fair. That is a
who knows?
It is a trifle, a bit of an issue. Yeah.
So
it'd be cool if they were able to keep it around long enough because that style of game is very clever.
Yeah, for sure. Really, though, with a game like Prey, I don't know if I want multiplayer.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not sure if it will have it. I do know that it's supposed to be, because it's Bethesda.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They've definitely talked about it being more of an RPG with specific choices being made and stuff.
Right.
So I'm not sure if they even had the time to dedicate to multiplayer because they keep boasting about how in-depth the story kind of is supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Which is fine. I mean, we've talked about before how we wish companies would kind of put more polish on story.
Yeah.
Well, it's just there's nothing wrong with making a story-driven game. Get more of that there. I mean, and fuck with a thing like this whole mimic ability. I know a bunch of Let's Players are gonna have fun as hell with that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I predict a lot of videos with it. I mean, single player or not, there's going to be a ton of videos with you becoming just random shit.
Oh, definitely.
So, yeah, I mean, that'll be cool to look forward to.
Definite.
So, speaking of that, if you want to segue into something else.
I mean, sure.
Well, speaking of just, making single-player stuff, BioWare came out and said that they're going to come out with their new IP. They're going to, have the premiere of it, I think, at E3.
Okay.
And its code name is Dylan.
Alright.
And, this is what makes me a bit upset about this.
Mm-hmm.
They're basically following, we're getting the copycats for sure now. They're going to follow in the wake of, Destiny and Division.
Fuck. Why?
So, MMO
and
on the console?
Yeah, I'm avoiding it.
I mean...
I don't know about you guys, but, that doesn't... I don't really give a shit.
Terrible. And...
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell they're thinking.
Well, here's the other thing.
Mm-hmm.
I found this out. So, the team that's working on Dylan is the original Mass Effect team. They're ones that worked on the original trilogy.
Alright. Interesting.
So, 1 + 1 equals, that's why Andromeda.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my thought, anyway.
I hear you, man.
Yeah, you have the A team responsible for this hit game not working on its predecessor, not working on successor,
right?
Because you want to copy another type of game.
I'm intrigued to see what it is, but by and large, I'm not particularly impressed by this news.
Yeah, neither am I.
What is it? Ubisoft made Division. It had its. I mean, it definitely didn't succeed in the end, but it wasn't a failure. To a large degree. Bungie proved that you can make a successful MMO-like game and get your community very much into it. And, we have 2s on the horizon. September this year.
Yep.
I honestly, if this game is slated to come out this year, I think they'll fail. If it's slated to come out in a few years down the road, they may have a chance. But again, they need to look at Division as an example of, all right, these are kind of the hurdles that we're going to have to deal with. We need to be successful. That said, this is not news that I'm like, oh man, I can't wait to pick up this game. I'm depressed to hear that because of how not successful Andromeda was. It's like, this is what your team was doing, just making a fucking copy of another series of games or styles of games. Man, come on, could have done better.
Well, for me, it's hearing that it's gonna be in the vein of Destiny and Division.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't play multiplayer games like that,
right?
Because not a whole lot of people. I mean, this probably sounds pathetic, but whatever. I don't fucking care. I don't have that many friends on Xbox, which it does kind of sucks because I would love to play Horde with people for Gears of War.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's all these games are coming out, and it's like you can only do half the shit in the game or more than half of it if you have 3 people.
Yeah,
and it's also like if you don't know said people, guess what? They're gonna be dicks.
Well, that's where I felt Destiny's system was probably out of this kind of genre of game design was probably at its most balanced and fair. Division really cared about what your gear looked like, and if you did not have gear for said zone or event that you were in, you're just straight fucked and a burden to your team. Destiny, it's anybody could get to that point. There were no hurdles or hoops or problems that I ever felt like I ran into. I always felt like, sure, there are times where just my gear wasn't up to snuff, but if I could succeed at this raid or not necessarily a raid or if my team and I could succeed at the strike, I could get gear to fix potentially an issue. And again, that game isn't as was not as gear dependent. Your firearms were your important thing. Your armor was kind of a secondary thing, and it was mostly, do your light levels match up? Yes, great, go into this. And I appreciated that I could hop into a strike and know the other two dudes I'm with were gonna be fine. And Division, I was always fearful of that. So I agree with you. Division's the game where it's, if I have my buddies, this will be a fun time. If I don't have my buddies, fuck this is a miserable time. And Destiny, it's I don't need my buddies because I know the game isn't, gear dependent on my ability to get through there. It's a skill. It's a shooter at that point. So,
yeah.
I'm not happy with the news. I'll check it out, see what it's like, but I'm not oh man, I can't wait to pick it up. At least that's my opinion right now. We'll see, E3
Well, I mean,
time.
even when we see it and we get an official name in June with E3, again, we won't know anything until we get more details. We see trailer, we see gameplay, and maybe even get the release date.
Right.
I mean, it's at that point, it's still just a fucking commercial.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, I don't know about that. Just make another. I mean, BioWare, just make another single player game. If you want a new IP, I get it, but just stick with single player.
Make another good RPG because your current one not so hot.
Yeah. You finished it?
No. I finally started playing it again today. I've been kind of doing some Dark Souls grinding, so I got my feel for that game again. I was like, oh shit, I forgot how like fun and exciting this game is. Man, I need to beat Andromeda. Yeah, I'm gonna play this game for a little bit more.
I think this is where you gotta bite down and go.
Yeah, and that's why I was like, all right, I'm starting to play it again. I see, feeling out these are the elements I liked for Andromeda. And these are the things that I've disliked for Andromeda. All right, well, let's continue playing on through it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, woohoo on that.
Yeah.
There's other things I would like to talk about the Thor trailer, but did you guys see the Battlefront trailer?
I did.
The Battlefront 2.
Yes.
Yeah. What'd you guys think of it?
There's not enough to go off of. That was kind of my feeling in the end. I was like, cool.
Yeah.
Could be.
But did you play Battlefront 2, the original game?
Hell yeah. Game was great.
Yeah. Well, in that game, I know what they did was the story was basically you're the 501st, and you go from them when they started the Clone Wars all the way to the Battle of Hoth. But there was no main character. Right. That was fine. I think they did that pretty well. This game, I think after the Battle of Endor, from the trailer that I saw, so I guess we're gonna get what happens in between the Battle of Endor and everything that happens there and about.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do.
Yeah,
with it.
I posted it on our Facebook page, and I said, I hope this isn't 4 hours long.
God, that would be depressing.
Yeah, a 4 hour long game for something that looks that good? Like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing had better have some goddamn meat on its bones.
I mean, considering with the kind of... I don't know if you could consider, like, the first reboot in the Battlefront franchise as a failure, but, like, it wasn't as successful as people would have liked it.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't successful, and that's mostly because it was like, you get the rest of the game over time, and to get the rest of the game over time on time, you have to shell it another $50.
Right.
Which makes the game $110.
Rough, to say the least.
Yeah. So that's EA basically. I don't want to say it's price gouging, but that's EA just not doing it right, I guess.
Yeah.
If this game does have a good single player game, how long do you think it should be?
I mean, what's your atypical shooter's kind of game length?
I think anywhere between 8 to 12 hours.
Yeah, I'd ballpark around there would be fine.
Yeah.
If they do it longer, cool. That'd be cool.
Yeah. I mean, 8 to 12 hours, it could be longer. That's if you're gathering up collectibles and shit.
Right.
I'm playing an open world game right now, and I got about 13 hours into it, but I'm also doing a bunch of side shit.
Which game you playing?
Sleeping Dogs.
Yeah.
So I just want to get through it, because it's still... Because, before the podcast, I was bitching to Shane because I'm still having connectivity issues with Gears of War For Honor.
That's so fucking annoying.
So just figure I'd get through Sleeping Dogs.
Yeah, that's fair.
And, and it's a fun game, and it's dated, for sure, because I think it came out in the 360 first. But it's still a damn good game. With everything it provides, and how it's going into, like, the culture in Hong Kong and all this other stuff. So, I mean, it's not like, super in-depth, but it's interesting. So, yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying that.
I was actually looking it up.
What?
Different shooters, the average length of a shooter.
Yeah.
It says anywhere from 10 to 12 hours, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But also, my thing is, it's like, if I'm going to play it, I want it to have replayability.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, I remember playing Halo. And my whole thing with that was like, oh, well, I played it on normal. Let's try it on heroic.
Okay, yeah, I agree.
And then it's like, oh, well, I beat heroic. Now let's try it on legendary, right?
Right.
And I remember that, it took me about 8 hours to beat Halo 1 Combat Evolved, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Takes about 8 hours on normal if you're pretty adept at the game.
Right.
It takes about 12 to 13 if you're on heroic, and then on legendary, should take up to like 16 hours if it's really difficult and challenging, right? And if you're pretty good. And I'm just like, shooters should have that kind of like progression where you want to go back and play it.
Yeah.
And you should like that challenge, because that's a big thing I think has been missing from certain shooters.
Yeah.
Then again, I haven't played a lot of shooters since Halo Reach. Mostly because like that was my last big console shooter.
Yeah. I think the thing about the Halo games is you can also get the skulls.
Yeah.
And, like, I know people that play, what's it called? Lasso? Legendary, all skulls on.
Yeah.
So you're just ratcheting up the difficulty to an extreme. And if people like that challenge, great. For me, to keep me engaged, it's kind of like, for a shooter, it has to have a good story. And, the difficulty challenges has to be there. Also, collectibles, whether they're useful or not, it helps you want to replay the game again.
Yeah.
That's why I replayed Gears of War 4 again. Because I wanted all the collectibles.
For me these days, like, yeah, story's kind of a big, like, that keeps me going. That keeps me wanting to enjoy the game more, and also like the feel of it. The reason why I got into the Killzone franchise was, I thought the story was great and the characters I was playing as were awesome, but just like the feel of everything, like how weighty the guns felt, how heavy the armor could feel on a character, just like the kind of immersiveness the game brought to it, really, really kind of pulled me into playing the game. So like, I think that also for me lends to me wanting to like play the game more if like I'm kind of immersed. More than like your atypical shooter.
Yeah, I think the problem with shooters is everyone thinks that they have to have a multiplayer.
I mean, by and large, that is what in some cases keeps a shooter going, is the multiplayer.
Yeah,
by like today's standards.
True, but like, BioShock BioShock Infinite didn't need it.
Right. It had a multiplayer in 2, and it was okay. It wasn't anything spectacular.
Yeah, I've been wanting to get the remastered one. I haven't yet.
Oh, the collectors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get all 3 games, because BioShock 1 and 2 are updated. They didn't update Infinite because they're like, it doesn't need it.
It really doesn't need it.
It's still a good looking game, even though at this point it's 4 years old.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been wanting to get it.
That's fair.
Yeah. But I mean, for me, a shooter has to have it has to have a good story and everything like that. But at the same time, what I don't want is to be a soldier. Like, I don't want it to be the grizzled white guy.
You mean a typical shooter pattern?
Hey, war as hell. I don't want that motherfucker. Either give me the silent treatment one, a la Gordon Freeman, which again, I don't know if that can work now, or give me the insane cartoony thing or something like that, or in between that, give me Booker DeWitt, who is interesting to hear talk.
Yes.
Which I still feel like that's like one of the first games that I've played anyway, where it's constantly first person, but you Booker, who you're playing, is still speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a cutscene.
Yeah, that was a really really intelligent choice by Irrational.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, but also the model for Booker sucked.
hey,
You know what really pissed me off about the Booker's model?
What?
It wasn't the model they used in the commercials.
Yeah.
right.
Then again, actually, what angers me about Bioshock Infinite was all the E3 demos and all the cool stuff they showed off, and none of it showed up in the game.
Yeah,
that's
true.
frustrating.
Not saying Bioshock Infinite was a bad game, because I actually thought the story was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like there was so much that they could have done and that they showed off, and it's just disappointing that it wasn't in the game, because I was looking so forward to seeing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The interesting thing that just that reminds me of all the shit that happened with Rogue One, because there's all these scenes that we saw in the trailers that were not in the movies,
Right.
and people are like, "Where the hell is this scene? Where the hell is this scene? Where's this scene?" And it's like, "Oh, well, we shot some of those scenes to experiment, and they were left in all the raw cuts, so." People just, the editor who puts together the trailer took what we used, what we didn't use. So that's why that's why there's like a lot of fake scenes as people are putting it.
I mean, I wouldn't call them fake.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
No, they're not fake at all, but they were never in the movie.
Right.
Yeah.
So you got a different tone when you saw all those trailers and those different shots. The two that people complain about the most is the one where a TIE fighter hovered right by I'm forgetting Jin, the main character.
yeah.
I forget her name. When there's a TIE fighter hovering like that pops up, kind of like right by where she's trying to walk to a control booth at the top of that tower.
Oh yeah.
And there's that scene, and then there's the other scene where she turns and she's in the Imperial armor getup, and all the lights kind of go on around her.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those two scenes were in the trailer, but not in the movie itself. So, but people complain, so whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd only complain if the final product was shit, but it wasn't. It was quite enjoyable.
No, it was very enjoyable. Yeah, for sure. Because we're at an hour. I would like to talk about the last two things. And we're going to do a little bit of a draw. Or not a draw. We're A or B. A, we talk about Thor.
Okay.
B, we talk about Transformers, and then Thor.
A.
Yeah, I want.
You want to talk about Thor?
Yeah. Between the two, I'd rather talk about Thor.
You don't want to talk about Transformers at all?
The trailer was alright.
I'm confused. I don't know about you guys.
Thor's trailer was much more straightforward and much more interesting. And that's what I think.
Yeah, it was.
I have a funny story about Thor.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
You what?
I have a funny story about Thor.
What's your funny story about Thor?
Okay, so I watched the trailer in the morning, and Ashley was at work. So when she got home, I was like, "Oh, you have to see the Thor trailer.
Okay.
It's
Right.
fucking awesome, right?"
Yeah.
So I show her the trailer, and Ashley's first impression, and she made this very vocal, was, "I don't know what the fuck is going on right now."
All right.
Which is okay. I was like, "Well, that's fine," because I think that's the tone of it, right?
Yeah.
But then Thor's in the arena, and he puts on the helmet.
Yeah.
And I'm gearing up because I'm like, oh shit, this is like the best part about this trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And then Hulk bursts through the door, right?
Yeah.
Ashley's first response is, oh, what is this, World of Warcraft?
Oh,
Because she sees a big green guy in armor.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, haha, real funny, right? And then it does the thing where Hulk smiles.
Hulk smiles.
Well, Hulk makes that face.
Yeah. He never smiled, but Thor smiled.
Thor smiled. Hulk makes a face. And Ashley goes, oh, it's Hulk.
Yeah.
No, but she didn't recognize that it was Hulk at first.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's in my mind, I'm like, most people, because she only knows one big green person in Marvel. I figured she'd at least try to make that connection first. I'm not making fun of her, but in her mind, she saw it, and actually her first thought was no, I thought it was an orc, a space orc.
All right.
Well, I kind of get that in the armor with the axes.
Yeah,
he could be an orc.
But that was actually really funny to me because I was like, oh, this is how non-Marvel fans see it sometimes.
Yeah, no, that's very true. What's interesting? What's up?
I was just gonna say I love Jeff Goldblum in that trailer.
I didn't make an opinion of him because there wasn't much to see.
I mean, his reaction to like how Thor reacted, I thought was good. I want to know what his character is about, because that'll be good to know.
I'm purely going off an aesthetic thing right now.
Okay,
I like the look of the character. Yeah. Like to see it, like it's one thing to see a still picture, right? Because they always do all the lighting and stuff.
Yeah,
but to see it actually filmed and being moved, and it looked pretty good. And I was a little skeptical actually at first.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think we'll have to see more about his portrayal of the character. But pretty good snippet.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think?
I'm the Thor movies have always been hit or miss.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really care for I didn't really care for the first one.
Yeah.
The second one I was just kind of like, because the villain was lame, his motivation was lame. The end result was kind of lackluster. I mean, the fight was kind of cool, especially with Mjolnir going up and down, trying to get to Thor.
Mm-hmm.
But it really all Thor: The Dark World was it called The Dark World?
Yes.
Yeah. I think it was called Thor: The Dark World. All that was just basically filler to say, "Hey, second Infinity Stone, here it is." And I didn't really give a shit about that.
I liked the second Thor movie, considering how
you hated the first one so much.
Right, the first one was just such a giant piece of shit, and confused me on why it was a Thor movie. Considering the segment where he wasn't actually Thor was actually a good movie. But I thought The Dark World was actually pretty good. I will agree with you. The main villain was kind of but I think we got more of an idea of the world Thor is from. And I liked that they finally started expanding on that. Also, like, what threats Thor and those of Asgard have had to deal with. You also get a bigger view of that, and like how much bigger the universe is that these characters are all from, as opposed to like most of the other Marvel characters are stuck on Earth.
That's very true.
And like there are only so many things we can do on Earth. I mean, I think we can all agree that the third what the fuck is it? The third Iron Man movie was not so great, but not awful.
It wasn't awful. I really liked it. Yeah. It made up for the second one.
It did make up for the second one. God, that one was a giant trailer park fire.
The problem I feel with most Marvel movies is most of their villains are kind of lackluster.
They're pretty boring.
And Loki's probably been the best villain that they've had. I think anyway.
I mean, when you can have a character that is I think it a lot of it comes down to how the character has been written, and then the actor they chose on how charismatic he is really lends to that character.
That's true. I mean, Ultron was good. With James Spader doing Ultron, it worked. I mean, everything about Ultron worked. Again, it was just more of like his motivation. I was kind of meh with it. But Tom Hiddleston as Loki, his motivation kind of... I guess because we had time, we had a movie, we had some time with Loki, so it just kind of... It built up.
Yeah.
That's how I looked at it anyway. But with this movie, with Ragnarok, partly I was expecting a more serious tone. But it's only the first trailer, so who knows what we're gonna get.
Right. It still may have a more serious tone.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, I think the reaction that Thor gives when he sees Hulk is very appropriate for how his character is.
Yeah, well, it's also, I think it's like Marvel knows its fans, and they're like, okay, we're not going to sugarcoat it, we're not going to tease it. This is it.
Yeah.
We're going to give them this bit of, we're going to give them this slice of cake, and they're going to enjoy it, and they're all going to be happy. And then the second trailer, we'll get into the story.
Yeah. And I think you got to give credit to Marvel's editing team for like how they do it. Where it's like they know how to give you the right amount without spoiling too much. So they've kind of faltered here and there, but I think by and large they've been very successful on here's that first dosage to get you excited, and then here's the second dosage to really kind of flush out what you should be expecting from it.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm really I like the look of it. I like the fact that Hulk is gonna be in it, and we're gonna kind of get a Planet Hulk-ish movie.
Right, that was instantly as soon as I saw Hulk in that armor, I was like, all right, Planet Hulk, here we go.
Well,
all right.
Supposedly, he's on planet. Thor is on the barbarian-ish planet called Skara or whatever. So where Hulk went.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So yeah,
I hope that there's at least some explanation as to how Hulk got there. But I don't want Bruce Banner to explain it.
You want Hulk to explain it?
I want Hulk to gesture about it. I want Hulk to try and explain it, and for Thor to kind of piece it together.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is, like, do we want Hulk to fully speak? Because he fully speaks and comprehends words and has strategies in Planet Hulk.
Right.
So it's like, do we want that Hulk?
I would be okay with it, because in the other Hulk movies, even though there's like two of them, I mean, you know, Hulk speaking as a character, it's not uncommon, and it actually kind of would add depth to Hulk's persona, right?
Right.
Sure. And I don't think it could hurt, especially if Mark Ruffalo is doing the Hulk acting anyways.
Yeah, I think Marvel's smart, and they're not gonna like leave Ruffalo out of it. I think he is probably in a mocap suit doing the acting.
I would also be fine if like Hulk's pattern was very broken up. Was like
what do you mean?
Like you could see him like starting to like get like Hulk starting to kind of like I guess become I guess more human is not the correct. I guess civilized. I don't know, being able to form complete sentences without like, but it's still kind of disjointed. Like I don't. Yeah. I'd be fine with that, because then you get a sense of like there has been time since they've been apart that, you know, Banner and Hulk have had time to kind of grow and develop, but it's still not 100%. Because I think it'd be too weird if in the time, the span of time that's kind of occurred from, you know, Hulk leaving till now, I think it'd be weird if he's just like, yep, can totally speak fine, you know, no problems, no hitches. It'd seem more realistic if it's still trying to like get better and become perfect, but it's better than where it once was, is like he says 2 words and you giggle. So I'd be alright with that.
I'll be okay with Hulk speaking full sentences if he's screaming them. Like the only reason why is because Ager is kind of the driving force behind Hulk, besides the other emotions. And so I feel like if he was like, for instance, I would love it if he got into an argument with Thor in this movie, and he yelled at him, and for like 2 minutes straight he actually formed perfect sentences and explained to Thor why his head's so far up his ass.
That'd be interesting,
because the thing about Hulk is it's literally the embodiment of Bruce's rage, and so if Bruce became angry and channeled it through and actually spoke, I feel like that would be the only time Hulk could fully have a semblance of dialect.
That would be cool too, because you then get a driving factor of why he's able to speak coherently.
Yeah, if he speaks at all.
Right.
I mean, that's the other thing.
Right. This, I mean, a lot of speculatory, right?
Yeah. I kind of want Hulk to go like a Thor friend and just like hug him and like collapse on him. I kind of want that dumb moment. That's just me. What'd you guys think of Kate Blanchett as Hela or Hel?
Interesting. I want to see more. I don't think we got like a full feel on it, but could be cool.
She could be Eva Green's sister or relative of some sort. I don't want to say mom because I don't think they're that far apart.
Yeah.
But with the black hair and how bright blue Kate Blanchett's eyes are,
yeah,
her and Eva Green together, it's like holy shit! Like they could be related.
Yes,
I really like Kate Blanchett.
Yeah, same here.
I really like so far. I like the scenes that they've put her in and that they put in the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
her catching Mjolnir.
Yeah,
and breaking it.
Yeah,
was scary.
If that was the only thing we saw of her, I'd be like, done. Awesome.
Yeah.
Excellent. Because that already set such a great pacing for the tone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then on top of it, like, even, like, I like it also because if you notice something, all the scenes that she's in, the color is literally dropped out of the shot. Like, she is, like, her character is darkness, right?
Yeah.
And then basically, you know, when you see Thor and he's the only character in the thing, it's juxtaposed because everything's bright and colorful, right? And it's all crazy. And, like, I love the trailer because it went back and forth between, like, Thor's shitty, like, situation just going out crazy versus her taking over Asgard.
And destroying Asgard.
Oh, yeah. And it just looked great.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah.
That made it feel really good. Because that's the thing about the Thor movies that I've always complained about is the cinematography was meh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said before, it was... like, the first Thor was just Dutch angles, the movie.
Yeah.
And then the second Thor was kind of like, you have all the pieces to tell an interesting story, yet I feel like you're jumping around too much and you're not really using, like, your backgrounds to really tell a story.
Mm.
Yeah.
And also on top of it, like, the Dark World, where the Dark Elves come from, and, like, that whole, like, desolate planet, it felt the same as England on Earth when they attacked.
That's because England is a desolate place, my friend.
But, you know, it didn't tell a good story, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I get that.
I have high hopes for this one, and I think one other thing I really like about it is that they've broken a lot of comfort zones in character design, right? Like, Thor has short hair, but he also has the helmet now, right?
Right.
Doesn't have Mjolnir. We're gonna have Hulk wearing armor. And
wielding weapons.
Yeah, right? And then on top of it, we have, like, Tom Hiddleston being the brightest character. Like, Loki was, like, the brightest thing in that shot with Hela.
Yeah.
So, like, it's all these great things where they're like, oh yeah, this is how it is, and now they're just flipping it upside down. I'm like, this is the perfect time to do that, especially since you have Guardians coming out now, right?
Yeah. Well, the other thing is so apparently Ragnarok is supposed to do. It's supposed to do the same thing that Winter Soldier did. Winter Soldier broke S.H.I.E.L.D., and it just broke a lot of these dynamics. For the rest of the Marvel movie, Ragnarok's supposed to do that, plus gear up for Thanos.
All right.
Excellent.
So, so that's going to happen. Can I tell you what I want the post-credits scene to be?
Sure.
I want it to basically be Thor kind of semi-carrying Mark Ruffalo, Bruce Banner. Mm-hmm. I want him to, like, basically, kind of like carrying him. He's, like, wrapped in a blanket and he's, like, weakened or whatever. And I want him to give a bag of money or something like that to someone that you can't see off screen. And it's like, and he basically Thor saying, I need to take him to Earth. Do you know where it is? And then the camera, like, pans over and it's Peter Quill.
Oh.
All right. It's Peter Quill going, Terra? why there? And it just ends.
That'd be cool.
Because it to me, that just like, that's how you tie it all together, because the Guardians are going to be in the Infinity War.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, how else are they going to get to Earth? They're going to drop off to Avengers. Makes sense.
I think that's great, except I don't want him to say that specific line.
What?
I want him to be like, oh yeah, we're definitely the team to get you there. And I want Rocket to chime in and be like, as long as you wanted to get there with it missing a few limbs.
Yeah.
Like, I want not just Quill, but I want, like, a little bit of the comedy that they bring.
What? I mean, it could be any of them. It could be Quill, it could be Gamora, it could be Rocket, it could be any of them.
Yeah.
You know, it just like, it'd be funny if the Guardians were basically playing valet or chauffeur to Thor and Banner.
Yeah.
To get them back to Earth. So
we're pretty good.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to Guardians, and I'm looking forward to the Spider-Man, though I'm also hesitant because Spider-Man has burned me a few times.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to Thor, even though I haven't liked the last 2 Thor movies much. Thor is a character with the Avengers. He's awesome.
Thor is a character by himself, not so much.
Not so much. I like the first one. It was just like, for me, it wasn't the Dutch angles. It was just the arrogance and the bullshit, and it just didn't. It doesn't have any oomph to it. It was kind of very lackluster to me. And the second one just was also filler to me.
Alright.
So, I mean, it was cool to see Thor and see more of Asgard, but again, it just felt like filler.
I think the best way to sum it up is, like, a movie's kind of disappointing when its most exciting scene is a cameo from another person that you don't fully see.
Yeah.
Like, my favorite part of the Thor movie was the Hawkeye cameo.
Oh, yeah, and yeah.
Because that was such a cool thing. And then that was, that didn't even pan out. So it's like,
We barely saw him.
Right?
Yeah.
Alright, well, I think we're good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're good. I think we should wrap up here.
Alright, well, thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah. Please like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe on iTunes, and if you're on YouTube, please like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah, please do.
Yes. Do all that.
Definitely. Always leave feedback if you can. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely.
And to those who have, thank you.
Yes.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah. All right, we're out.
All right.
Later.
Later.
Later days.